The audience was buzzing with anticipation as country superstar Blake Shelton took his seat on The View. It was supposed to be a light-hearted morning filled with laughs, music, and maybe a few stories from his time on The Voice. But things took a shocking turn when co-host Joy Behar decided to push Blake into a corner with some pointed comments. What began as friendly banter quickly spiraled into one of the most unexpected confrontations daytime TV has seen in a long time. Joy Behar, known for her bold opinions and quick wit, started off by teasing Blake about his lifestyle and his relationship with Gwen Stefani. Blake laughed it off at first, trying to keep things casual. However, the tone shifted when Joy made a remark about country stars not understanding real issues. The audience gasped, and Blake's expression changed instantly. His smile faded, and he leaned forward, signaling that things were about to get serious. Blake, never one to back down when he feels disrespected, took a deep breath before responding. "Joy," he said calmly but firmly, "I've spent my whole life working hard and staying true to who I am. Just because I sing country music doesn't mean I don't understand real issues." The studio audience erupted with applause, sensing the tension between the two escalating. Joy, visibly unfazed, smirked and fired back with another sharp comment about celebrity privilege. At that moment, the atmosphere grew thick with discomfort. Whoopi Goldberg tried to interject, attempting to cool things down by steering the conversation toward Blake's latest album. But the damage was done. Joy wasn't letting go of her point, and Blake wasn't about to let her get the last word. The clash of personalities turned what should have been a promotional appearance into a heated exchange that had everyone on edge. Blake's fans watching from home took to social media almost instantly. Hashtags like #TeamBlake and #JoyBehar drama began trending within minutes. Clips of the confrontation spread rapidly across X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok, with fans praising Blake for standing his ground. Some even accused The View of trying to ambush him for ratings, pointing out how Joy seemed to push his buttons deliberately. Inside the studio, the tension didn't ease up. Blake leaned back in his chair, his jaw tight as Joy continued to press him on political topics. "I'm here to talk about music, not politics," he said in a controlled tone. Joy laughed, replying, "Everything's political these days, Blake." That remark seemed to be the final straw. The crowd was split between laughter and discomfort as the argument teetered on the edge of chaos. Blake tried to pivot back to his tour, but Joy interrupted again, questioning whether he used his platform responsibly. The country star's patience visibly wore thin. His usually calm demeanor started to crack as he said, "I don't owe anyone an explanation about how I use my platform." The studio went silent for a moment. Even Whoopi seemed unsure of what to say next. Trying to salvage the interview, Sunny Hostin attempted to steer things back to lighter territory. But Joy wasn't done. She made one last jab about country boys getting too sensitive. That's when Blake's tone shifted completely. His southern charm gave way to raw frustration as he replied, "You call it sensitive, yeah, I call it standing up for myself." The crowd erupted in mixed reactions, some cheering and others shocked at his bluntness. Producers backstage reportedly scrambled to decide whether to cut to a commercial break early. The tension was palpable. Blake looked visibly agitated, and Joy's grin only seemed to irritate him further. When Whoopi finally called for a break, Blake removed his mic and stood up, shaking his head. Audience members later claimed he muttered something under his breath before walking off the set entirely. As cameras cut away, co-hosts were left stunned. The audience buzzed with disbelief. Was this part of the show, or had Blake Shelton really stormed off The View? When the show returned from the break, Blake's chair was empty. Joy tried to make light of the situation, saying, "Well, I guess I hit a nerve." But the attempt at humor didn't land. Whoopi's expression said it all. Of this was no joke. Behind the scenes, reports say producers rushed to calm Blake down backstage. He was reportedly furious, feeling ambushed and disrespected. "I came here to promote my music, not to get grilled," he allegedly said to one of the staff members. The situation escalated so much that security had to make sure things didn't get out of hand, though no physical confrontation took place. The clip of Blake leaving the set went viral within hours. Fans, media outlets, and commentators all weighed in. Some criticized The View for crossing a line, while others argued that Blake should have been more composed. Regardless of which side people were on, one thing was certain: the confrontation had captured everyone's attention, and the clip racked up millions of views online. When Stephanie reportedly reached out to comfort Blake afterward, sources close to the couple said she told him to let it go and not let the negativity overshadow his music. Blake, however, wasn't ready to move on so easily. Friends said he felt publicly humiliated and misrepresented. He wasn't angry just about the comments, it was about how his integrity was questioned on live TV. Meanwhile, The View producers issued a brief statement claiming that disagreements on the show are part of healthy conversation, but many viewers didn't buy it. Online, fans accused the program of setting Blake up for controversy, pointing to the way Joy steered the discussion towards sensitive topics. The backlash against The View was intense, with some calling for Joy to apologize. In the days following the incident, both camps stayed mostly silent. Blake didn't make any formal statements, but he did post a cryptic message on Instagram. "Sometimes walking away says more than words ever could." Fans flooded the comments with support, urging him not to appear on the show again. Meanwhile, The View's ratings for that episode skyrocketed. Joy Behar, known for rarely backing down, briefly addressed the situation on the next day's episode. "We all have opinions," she said with a shrug. "Sometimes people can't handle them." Her comment reignited the firestorm online, with many accusing her of being dismissive and disrespectful. Blake's supporters took it as proof that she had no remorse. Entertainment reporters and podcast hosts dissected the confrontation for days. Some argued it was an example of the growing tension between Hollywood and the country music world. Others said it showed how daytime TV thrives on drama to boost ratings. Whatever the reason, Blake Shelton's walk-off became one of the most talked-about TV moments of the year. Blake's management later clarified that he wasn't planning to return to The View anytime soon. Instead, he chose to focus on his upcoming tour and new music. "Blake is all about positivity and connecting with fans," his rep stated. "He's moving forward." Still, rumors swirled that he might address the confrontation in a future interview. Even some of Joy's co-hosts appeared uneasy about how things unfolded. While they didn't publicly criticize her, insiders claimed a few felt she crossed the line. Whoopi, in particular, reportedly told producers afterward that she wished the situation had been handled differently. The incident, according to staffers, created noticeable tension behind the scenes. As the days went on, more celebrities weighed in. Some country stars voiced their support for Blake, saying he represented their community well by standing his ground. Others urged for peace, saying the media was blowing things out of proportion. But regardless of the noise, one truth remained: Blake's walk-off had become a cultural moment that sparked national conversation. In Oklahoma, where Blake grew up, fans organized an online campaign showing their support. Messages of encouragement poured in, thanking him for staying true to himself. Blake later liked a few fan posts, subtly acknowledging their loyalty. For many, his reaction wasn't just about defending himself, it was about defending his roots and his values. Behind closed doors, The View team reportedly held a meeting to discuss how to prevent future incidents. While disagreements are a staple of the show's format, producers realized that this particular clash had crossed onto uncomfortable territory. Ratings were up, but the show's reputation for fairness took a hit. Even ABC executives were said to be monitoring the situation closely. As for Joy, she seemed unfazed by the backlash. On social media, she continued to share her usual commentary, avoiding any mention of the controversy. Some fans respected her confidence, others saw it as arrogance. Either way, the tension between her and Blake had become symbolic of the broader divide in entertainment and culture. Weeks later, Blake made a surprise return to late-night TV, where he was asked indirectly about the incident. He smiled and said, "Let's just say, I won't be back on that show anytime soon." The audience laughed, and the host moved on quickly. But the message was clear: Blake was done with The View for good. Despite the controversy, Blake's new single surged on streaming platforms. Many fans believe the publicity helped him more than it hurt him. Ironically, what started as a heated confrontation turned into a marketing boost for his music career. His resilience and calm demeanor afterward only strengthened his public image. Joy, meanwhile, continued to make headlines for her unapologetic style. Some fans of The View praised her for keeping it real, while others wished she'd shown more respect. The debate around the confrontation became less about the people involved and more about the state of modern media, where conflict often overshadows conversation. Blake later reflected privately with close friends about how the experience reminded him to choose his appearances carefully. He reportedly said, "Not every show deserves your story." Those words resonated with fans who saw him as authentic and grounded, a rare quality in an industry built on image and controversy. Months later, the incident still popped up in interviews and fan discussions. It had become one of those viral moments that refused to fade. People debated who was right and who was wrong, but Blake never revisited the topic publicly. Instead, he let his music and his silence speak for itself. Industry insiders noted how Blake handled the aftermath with maturity. He didn't lash out online or try to smear anyone's name. Instead, he poured his energy into performing and spending time with Gwen and his family. It was a subtle but powerful reminder that sometimes dignity is the best form of revenge. In the end, Blake Shelton's fiery moment on The View became more than just TV drama. It became a statement about standing up for one's principles. Whether people saw him as a hero or simply a man fed up with disrespect, his reaction left a lasting impression. And as time goes on, fans continue to remember that unforgettable morning when Blake Shelton refused to back down. After weeks of silence, new behind-the-scenes footage surfaced online, showing moments just before the blow-up. In the clip, Blake appeared relaxed and friendly, chatting with producers. But once Joy entered the set, his mood subtly changed. Some fans believed there was visible tension even before cameras started rolling, hinting that producers might have planned the confrontation to spark attention and boost viewership. The leaked footage fueled more speculation, with social media detectives analyzing every gesture. Viewers pointed out how Joy's questions seemed rehearsed and strategically aimed to provoke Blake. Several industry insiders claimed the show thrives on polarizing discussions, and Blake might have unknowingly walked onto a setup. The internet quickly divided, forming two camps: Team Joy and Team Blakey, each fiercely defending their favorite. Meanwhile, Blake kept his composure publicly, focusing on his tour. On stage, he occasionally joked about talk shows getting too wild these days, earning laughter from fans who knew exactly what he was referring to. His ability to turn controversy into humor impressed many. It showed his resilience and natural charm, two traits that made him one of country music's most beloved figures. Rumors began circulating that ABC executives reached out to Blake's management privately, hoping to smooth things over. They reportedly expressed regret about how the interview unfolded. While no formal apology was made, sources say there was an understanding that things got out of hand. Blake's team appreciated the gesture but made it clear he wouldn't be returning to The View anytime soon. Joy Behar, on the other hand, continued to face criticism from viewers who felt she crossed the line. Petitions calling for her suspension gained traction online, though ABC dismissed them quickly. Still, the backlash didn't fade. For every fan defending Joy's right to free speech, there were others accusing her of bullying a guest who came in good faith to promote his music. In an ironic twist, The View saw a temporary spike in ratings after the incident. Curiosity drew new viewers who wanted to see the infamous episode for themselves. But the boost didn't last long. As the controversy cooled, ratings began to dip, leaving producers to wonder if the brief burst of attention had been worth the long-term damage to their reputation. Entertainment magazines continued to dissect the story for months. Articles highlighted how moments like this reflect the tension between celebrity culture and political discourse. Many pointed out that viewers crave authenticity, not conflict. Blake's calm, genuine reactions contrasted sharply with Joy's confrontational tone, painting him as the victim in the public eye. Several of Blake's close friends, including fellow country artists, spoke out in interviews, defending his integrity. They described him as humble, down-to-earth, and uninterested in drama. One longtime friend even said, "If you upset Blake enough to walk off live TV, You must have really crossed the line." Those statements further solidified Blake's reputation as someone who only reacts when truly pushed too far. Even fans of The Voice, the show that made Blake a household name, rallied behind him. Viewers shared clips of his funniest and kindest moments as a coach, reminding the world of his good-natured humor. The contrast between that Blake and the frustrated man who stormed off The View made people realize just how uncomfortable that moment must have been for him. Weeks later, Blake finally addressed the drama indirectly during a concert in Nashville. Between songs, he paused and said, "Sometimes you just got to know when to walk away." The crowd roared with approval. It was his way of acknowledging what had happened without adding fuel to the fire. Fans respected his restraint and maturity, calling it a class act move. Meanwhile, Joy faced new questions from journalists about whether she regretted her comments. She responded in her typical blunt fashion, saying, "I don't apologize for having opinions." That statement reignited another wave of online debate. Critics accused her of arrogance, while supporters praised her honesty. But one thing was clear: she wasn't backing down, and neither was Blake. The story even caught the attention of other talk show hosts. Some joked about it, while others discussed it seriously as a cautionary tale about live television. A few media analysts noted that The View had built its identity on conflict, and this was simply the latest example of that formula going too far. For many, it became a lesson in how quickly a conversation can turn chaotic when egos collide. Despite the drama, Blake continued to thrive professionally. His tour sold out across multiple cities, and fans showed up wearing shirts that read, "Team Blakey walk away strong." It became an unintentional slogan symbolizing self-respect and calm under pressure. The phase trended on social media, turning what could have been a PR disaster into a rallying cry for positivity. Months after the blow-up, Joy finally admitted in a podcast interview that things might have gotten a bit heated. Though she didn't fully apologize, fans noticed the slight shift in tone. She hinted that perhaps her timing was off, saying, "Blake's a good guy. I probably just caught him on a bad day." While some saw it as a peace offering, others thought it was too little, too late. In the end, the entire ordeal became one of those unforgettable entertainment moments that everyone remembers. It wasn't just about an argument, it was about authenticity, respect, and the fine line between entertainment and confrontation. Blake Shelton's decision to walk away, rather than explode, turned into a defining moment of strength. It proved that even in a world obsessed with drama, staying true to yourself will always make the loudest statement of all.